Good afternoon, and welcome to our very informative live chat on new media marketing, the power of social media. I am your presenter today, Dr. Kay Green, and I'm excited to be back presenting this very interesting and powerful topic. Just to give you a little bit about my background, I'm a marketing consultant with RKG Marketing, Inc., located in Charlotte and Atlanta. I'm a professor of marketing as well as a Huffington Post contributor on the topics of marketing, business, online branding, and management today. And I'm so very excited to be presenting for JFK University to a very lively group of entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs. So before we begin, let's talk a little bit about social media. All right, let's take a couple of social media trivia facts here before we get started with the content. So our first question here is true or false? Social media is simply a fad among businesses today. I want you all to really think about this question. How long has social media been around? Do you foresee social media continuing to be such a presence that it is? I want you to take 5 seconds here and really think about the topic. All right, time's up. So the answer here is false. Social media is not a fad. Now, traditionally, from the beginning, there were many experts that said, hey, social media is not going to be around. It's not something that has longevity. Well, now those same experts are predicting that it has literally become a way of life. All right, our second question here, true or false? Using social media has no impact on customer relationships among businesses. Tell me, everyone, what are your thoughts regarding that? Using social media has no impact on customer relationships among businesses today. Your thoughts? The answer here is false. In fact, social media has such a tremendous impact on customer relations because this is a time in which customers can be honest and can be realistic about their perceptions and their experiences with your business. All right, our third question here is true or false? There's a perfect time of day or week to post content. Let's think about this, team. All right, true or false? The answer is true. There is certainly specific days of the week or specific times of the day that actually are more effective in reaching your potential target market or reaching your customer base in which they'll engage and they will connect with your business. And our last question here is, what do you believe is the average number of hours per week spent on social media? What do we think? Now, years ago, there were 2 or 3 hours, 1 or 2 hours, and so forth and so on. But now, as more and more adults adapt to social media, and it's not still this taboo thing, it's becoming more and more widespread. So with that in mind, the average number of hours that most people are spending on social media marketing is roughly between 8 to 12 hours per week. So I ask you, do you fall into this category? All right, let's take a further look. We're going to take a further look at social media and the social media revolution that exists today. Let's take a look here.
Right now, right here, 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 right
All right. Interestingly enough, let's take a look at that. Social media is indeed not a fad. It's definitely not a fad. It is a way of life. So moving on here, let's define what social media really is. If you had to give it a definition, what would social media be from your perspective? All right, from your perspective, what would social media be? All right, what would it be? What would it entail? Well, by definition here, social media are forms of electronic communication, websites for social networking, microblogging, all of the above, media sharing, web clip sharing, YouTube, Vimeos, Vines, all of the above, podcasting, all of the above are forms of social media through which users, consumers, employees, employers, managers, leaders, and you name it, create online communities, and they share information and ideas and personal messages and other content. All right. Now, does everyone remember, or does everyone know this gentleman here who's located at the bottom? All right. This gentleman is actually one of the pioneers in social media today. And one of his famous quotes here is, "The other guys think the purpose of communication is to get information. We think the purpose of information is to foster communication. So social media, the way that Mark Zuckerberg actually looks at it, it's not about getting information. We want to foster communication. That's what we want to do. It's all about communication and being connected. All right, does that make sense to everyone? All about being connected and engaged. All about being connected and engaged. So let's talk about a couple facts and figures here. A couple facts and figures. Couple important facts and figures here. All right, facts and figures. So as we mentioned with one of our trivia questions here, the average user logs about 1.72 hours per day on social media platform. So I want you to think about your consumption habits here, folks. Think about your consumption habits as the average user. You represent about 28% of online activity that you're focusing on social media, social platforms. It can be in the form of Twitter. It can be in the form of blogging. It could be in the form of visiting your LinkedIn or checking on your Facebook or whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is, years ago, this number was certainly lower, because social media, as I said, was very taboo. Well, now, guess what? As of 2015, 30% of everything that we do online is based on social platforms. And that number, folks, is estimated to grow exponentially over the next decade. All right, here's another interesting fact. In 2015, 73% of US Americans had a social networking profile. All right, representing a 6% growth compared to the previous year. So what I'm saying about the American consumer, that means that the entire population of US consumers, and we're going to look at that a little bit further here on, the entire 73% of the entire US population are actually on social media. And it doesn't matter what age or what race or what household income, things like that. And we'll look at that further. But 73% of US Americans had a social networking profile. All right. Here's another interesting fact. Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus are the top 3 social media sites that are actually used by marketers. And I know you're thinking Google Plus, but we'll talk about Google Plus in more detail and why that's very effective with small businesses and marketers today. And another quick fact here, 93% of marketers use social media for business. All right, hence our discussion and why it's so very important today. All right, so moving forward. All right, facts and figures. So who uses social networking sites? Well, as we mentioned, 73, 74% of US consumers are on social media. Among the men, 72%. And of course, women are going to be a little bit higher. We have 76%. We're naturally a little bit more social and interconnected with brands, and we account for a lot of shopping that's online and different websites that really appeal to the women demographic. Now, in terms of age, if we look here, the 18 to 29 demographic is certainly the highest in terms of social media usage. Almost 90%, folks, of consumers who are 18 to 29 are on social media. So I want you to think about your businesses or your potential businesses that you're creating those business plans for. If your target demographic is this age group, then you would definitely need to invest highly in social media. Let's look at the 30 to 49 year age group here. 82%. Literally, that means that if you line up 10 people, 8.2 people will be on social media between 30 to 49. All right? And our 50 to 64 demographic is steadily increasing because guess what? Our middle age and seniors, they understand just how important it is to be connected. They're connecting with friends and family members that they've never connected with before, and they're becoming more and more socially conscious. in terms of how to actually create profiles and share information and connect and all of the above. All right, in terms of education level, high school grads or less. Now, years ago, and this is a very interesting fact here, many of the experts, marketing experts, believe that most social media and online marketing was specifically left to those who actually graduated from college and so forth and so on. So the correlation was, if you went to college, you're likely to use social media, but if you didn't go, you're likely not to. Well, let's take a look at this. And this is from Pew Research, actually less than almost a year ago. Well, high school grads or less account for 72% of social networking usage. Some college, 78%, and 73% for college plus. So if you look at the range here, there's not much of a huge difference. And what does that indicate? That indicates that everyone, it doesn't matter the education level, are on social media. Here's some other interesting facts. Let's look at household incomes. So those households that are making less than $30,000 a year, 79% are on social media. All right, households with incomes between $30,000 to $49,000, 73% are on social media. $50,000 to $75,000, 70%, and $75,000 plus, 78% of those internet users are on social networking sites. So what does that tell you? It doesn't matter the age, the gender, the background, the education level, the income levels, all of these people, and those are typically the factors that differentiate your target markets. But now social media is allowing for you as potential business owners and as entrepreneurs here yourselves to connect with your audience despite their age, despite their income levels, despite their education levels, all of the above. So it's literally a wide open market. All right. Now that we've talked about who's on social media, let's talk about why you're on social media. I want you all to think about this. Let's reflect really quickly here. I want you all to really think and really go back to why you joined social media in the first place as an individual. All right. Now, according to this infographic here, there are 10 reasons, our top 10 reasons why people actually use social networking are for the following reasons. Now, first and foremost, which accounts for about 55%, most people want to stay in touch with their family and their friends. If you think about it, before Facebook and before Twitter and before LinkedIn and before Pinterest and Google Plus and all these different avenues that we have now to connect, literally, we would have to pick up the phone book. We would have to perform these huge searches, the classmates.com and that type of thing. That's how those sites became popular, because people wanted to connect and they wanted to see what was going on with their family members and their friends of years and years ago. Well, now everyone is literally on Facebook, right? So you can actually see day by day, literally hour by hour with some consumers, how often they're updating what their families are doing, how they've evolved, those type of things. All right. 41% wants to stay up to date with current news and current events. All right. Let's think about that. For many of us, we get our news from social media. Show of hands here. All right. And as you're listening to this, I want you to really think about it. Show of hands here. How many of us actually use social media to get news updates and current events? I mean, it's literally like real-time conversations in terms of what's going on in the news. All right. 41% to fill up spare time. 39% to find funny or entertaining content, articles, videos, all the above. We all need a good laugh. Social media is really huge in terms of humor. 39% to share opinions. How many of you have ever participated in or actually reviewed some of the online debates in terms of political topics, and views about the world and international relations and, I don't know, schoolwork and everything else. All right. 38% to share photos or videos. There are so many cases of people who would have never been discovered had it not been for social media. All right, 36%, a lot of their friends are on it. As we know, as consumers, we are highly influenced by our peers. We're highly influenced by our peers. All right, general networking with other people. LinkedIn is the #1 site to meet and connect with potential employees, with people who are in your industry, and so on. Other colleagues. It's the greatest thing the greatest platform to connect on. All right. How about meeting new people? 32%. 32%. 20 to 25% of new relationships today are started online. What was so taboo before is actually just such a way of life today. All right. And 27% says to share the details of what I'm doing in my daily life. So those are those top 10 reasons as to why social media has become such a phenomenon and why people are actually on it. All right. Social media marketing. Now that we understand that social media is a phenomenon, and that social media is not a fad, and that it is, in fact, what has revolutionized the way that we actually market to our consumers, as a business owner, as a potential entrepreneur, as someone who has been in entrepreneurship and who is continuing to enhance and grow their business, you must be social media savvy. You have to focus on social media marketing. So I want to go over a couple facts about social media marketing so that you can really understand just how important marketing on social media really is. All right? Very important fact here. Successful social media marketing is built around something of social value. All right? So if you are a small business, you are an entrepreneur, when you're exposing your product, your service, your message, it shouldn't appear as if you are doing traditional advertising. You want your exposure to appear incidental. Your audience is visiting to fulfill a social need. It's not like the traditional commercials and the traditional ways that we would advertise. You know, your audience is looking to be social. They want to learn and about brands other places. They want you to be engaging. So the key to successful social media marketing is to understand that it's not the new type of advertising or promotion. This is a different way. This is a way to bring your authentic brand out to the public. It's the way to really show them your personality. And you really need to understand that the reason why people are checking in, why they're in there, why they're coming on to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest and all these other sites, that's going to help you devise that strategy that's going to connect you with your target audience. And folks, it is definitely a method to your madness when it comes to social media marketing strategy. All right? So 2 things that I want you to remember, you can write this down and put a little star by it here. Connectivity and engagement are the 2 most important factors of social media today. Being connected and being engaged. All right, let's take a further look here. I'm going to share my screen. Let's take a further look here. I'm going to share my screen here, and we'll exit out of this. And here are a couple facts that I definitely want you to pay close attention to. All right, here we are. Let's take a look at this. Social media marketing and how it affects your business.
More than half of the human race is under 30 years old. They have never known life without the internet. Guess how they feel about social media. Last year, 1 in 6 marriages were between people who met through social media. 1/3 of women 18 to 34 check Facebook when they first wake up, even before going to the bathroom. 95% of millennials have joined a social network, and those are your consumers, co-workers, CEOs, decision makers. 81% of B2B companies have accounts on social media sites. 93% of all business buyers are social media advocates. Radio took 38 years to reach 50 million users. Television took 13 years to reach 50 million users. The internet took 4 years to reach 50 million users. 850 million monthly active Facebook users. 1+ million websites have integrated with Facebook in various ways. 77% of B2C companies and 43% of B2B companies acquired customers from Facebook. Facebook added 100 million users in less than 9 months. If Facebook were a country, it would be the 3rd most populated in the world. More than 25 million pieces of content are shared each month in social media websites. Minutes spent on Facebook per month. It is 500 billion. LinkedIn receives almost 12 million unique visitors per day. Executives from all Fortune 500 companies are on LinkedIn. There are more than 600 million search on Twitter every day. Top 3 countries in terms of the number of Twitter accounts. 34% of marketers have generated leads using Twitter. 77% of Fortune Global 100 companies have a Twitter account. Pinterest hit 10 million US monthly unique visitors faster than any independent sites in history. 2,000 to 702.2% increase in total unique visitors since May 2011. 69% of online consumers who visit Pinterest have found an item they bought or wanted to buy. 25% of Fortune Global 100 companies have Pinterest accounts. Google Plus has 500 million plus registered users. 48% of Fortune Global 100 companies are now on Google Plus. 40% of marketers use Google Plus. 70% users want to learn more about Google Plus. 67% users plan on increasing Google Plus activities. 24 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. There are 2 billion videos viewed each day on YouTube. YouTube uses the same bandwidth now that the entire internet used in the year 2000. You would need to live 1,000 years to watch all the videos currently on YouTube. Traditional media depends on intercepting the consumers, cutting through clutter, getting attention. It is no longer about shouting the loudest. Only 14% of consumers trust advertising. 78% trust your recommendation. Today, people get their information online. Social media is the new way of thinking and marketing. It is all about building a dialogue with your customers, co-workers, potentials. Still don't think social media will affect your business? It already has.
All right, very interesting here. All right, so I'm going to share my screen here really quickly. All right, so what does that say? It's if you don't think that social media will affect your business, it already has. All right, so this brings us to the power of social media, understanding your business. Now, the first thing that you want to understand with regard to social media marketing and how you're going to create this effective social media campaign to really catapult your business to the next level. What is your mission and vision? So I want you to think, how many of you have sat down and really put thought into what your mission and your vision is for your upcoming business or your business that you already have. And I know for some of you who have already been in business, you should have developed your mission and your vision. Now, as we know, your mission is actually what you want to accomplish, what it is you want to accomplish. What does your business stand for? All right. Do you want to be the market leader in the healthcare industry? Do you want to be the small business that's known for the best organic vegetables? Whatever the case may be, we need to know what your mission is. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? And with regard to your vision, where are you trying to go? So our first step here, the first place you need to begin is with understanding that, having a clear mission and a clear vision. So for those of you who have not created your clear mission and the clear vision of your organization, that's definitely something, that's a homework assignment that you want to put some detailed thought into. Because all good businesses, whether it's a small business or a large business, they have a very clear, a very concise mission and vision. All right, so here's a good teachable point here. A good social media marketing, when you have really good social media marketing, it's going to enhance that vision and it's going to share your vision with people worldwide. I want you to think of some of the brands that you're currently following on social media. Think of some of the brands that you're currently following on social media, that you're currently interacting with, if you're interacting with certain brands. And even some of the brands that you're not connecting with on social media, but brands that you have been supporting for many, many years. And I want you to think back. Let's take a look at what their mission and their visions are. All right, does that make sense, everyone? All right, so moving forward here, how about goal setting? So here we are, and we have these business plans that we are close to developing completely. And I know that many of you have set your goals there. So with regard to social media marketing, it's essentially very similar. You have to set goals in terms of what you want to accomplish in terms of your social media marketing strategy. Now, for some of you, I know your businesses may be localized, but still you have to have a social media marketing plan there as well. And I'm going to give you all an example from my own personal repertoire. I've started several businesses in my lifetime. And one of the things that I've seen was that traditionally, years and years ago, when I started my first small business, it actually was a professional errands business based out of Atlanta. And we started with a very simple traditional marketing strategy. You know, it was a grassroots marketing campaign. Well, here now with my recent small business, the entire way that we created the marketing strategy has shifted, because essentially the first thing that people actually do when they are looking for information is to Google your company or your brand. And what I found is that it doesn't matter how small the business or how large the corporation, people go online to review what they're saying about your organization. All right, so a couple goals here that I want you to consider as you're creating your social media marketing strategies here. All right, customer engagement and communication is definitely very important. All right, how much are you going to engage? How often are you going to engage? Who are you going to engage with? How often will you be communicating? All right, brand exposure, traffic to your website or websites. All right, and then also search engine optimization. How are you coming up? If people are Googling you, are you the first name that comes up on the list when we're thinking about childcare, or when we're thinking about lawn care, or when we're thinking about home health care solutions, or whatever business you're in? You want to make sure that you're that go-to person in your industry. All right, that's what creating these strategies and creating these business plans are all about. You want to put yourself in a differentiated category. All right, so here's a question for my listeners, for my audience here. When you think of these goals, which of these goals are most important to your business as an entrepreneur? Which of these goals, all right, are most important to your business as an entrepreneur? And I'll let you think about that for a moment here. All right, moving on. All right, here's some interesting facts about goal setting. Knowing your goals are going to help you, one, define your strategy. Because if you know what you want to do and where you're headed and what you want to accomplish, then it's going to help you put together a strategy that works for you and your business. All right, measuring your progress, and we'll talk about search engine benchmarking, and we'll talk about social media analytics in just a moment here. But measuring your progress. If you're going to create this social media strategy that works and that's going to enhance your business, you're going to have to know how to measure the progress of your campaign. And you want to understand the overall effectiveness of your campaign. I like to use the Coke Share a Coke campaign, which was probably one of the most successful this decade. And I say that because Coke instituted such a campaign, and it was largely social media based. And it really revolutionized the way that sharing and connectivity can be done. And we'll take a look at that. So here's another interesting fact here. You want to determine those sociological needs of your customer, because that's the single most important thing that you have to do before you implement your social media strategy. So I want you all to think here. All right, let's take a moment to think here. What is the most important thing, social-wise, that your customers need? All right? How will you connect on a level with your customers that satisfied their social needs? Think about that. All right, so very important points there. How about competitors? Now, here we are, and we're looking at social needs, and we're looking at your consumers, and we're talking about our goals and setting up the right strategy. Well, one of the most important things as well is understanding your competition. I'm throwing a question out here to my audience here. Why is it important to know your competition? Why is it important that we understand our competition? I'm going to let you think about that for a moment here. All right, here we are. A couple of important facts, and I love to include facts because it really helps us to understand why it's necessary. Well, think about it. When it comes to social media marketing, you need to know the other company. You need to know their products, their services that your online customers are following. If you're in lawn care, for example, you need to understand who your competitors are within the range of customers you'll be serving. So if you're serving customers, let's say within a 50-mile radius of your local city, well, I need for you to know your top 3 consumers. All right, you have to understand who your competition is. You need to find those businesses that are similar to your own business. All right, and you want to understand what they're doing in terms of social media and promotions and that type of thing. So here are a couple key questions that you want to consider. What wording are your competitors using in their social bios? What images do your competitors use? What products or services do your competitors focus on? Or do your competitors share their own content? And we'll talk about content marketing. We have an entire section on content marketing and or content from other industries, news sites, or blogs. And here's an example. I notice a lot of the time, and I actually follow the American Marketing Association and the Marketing Research Association, and I actually follow some other thought leaders in marketing as well. And I noticed that a lot of my colleagues and peers within my industry, they actually share a lot of content from American Marketing Association, the Marketing Research Association, from various blogs, Huffington Post, the New York Times, World News, all of the above. All right. So it's very important to understand what's some of the content that's being shared by your competitors. How are your competitors using images, and how are they using photos and videos and other media within their own updates? And how often are your competitors posting updates? And how often are your competitors engaging with others? And as we said, one of the two key concepts here, connectivity and engagement. All right. And we'll talk about the concept of engagement really quickly here. All right, gauging your influence. Now, for those of you who are avid social media enthusiasts, you have to really think about your online influence. Now, for those of you who are just getting warmed up and just getting started in social media, another key concept that we have to be very cognizant of is your online influence. Because as we know, whether it's your small business or your personal brand, you are managing your reputation, and there's a certain level of influence depending on how often you're actually engaging in social media that you're actually going to attain. All right. So once you know your mission and your vision and your goals and your competitors, you need to understand what type of influence you actually have, if any. All right. An online influence is measured not by how many people are just liking your photos or liking your companies or following you on Twitter. But when we think about engagement and we're thinking about influence, it has to be by the number of people or companies that are actually engaged in your social network. All right. So it's not about how many people are clicking the like button or how many people are following you, but it's actually about how many people are engaging with you. And what does it mean to be engaged in social media? I'm throwing this question out here to my audience. What does it mean to be engaged in social media? All right. Any examples of engagement? I want you all to think about this point for a moment here. Any examples of engagement? All right. So since you asked the question, here are a couple examples of engagement. And as I mentioned, it's not enough to just have followers. You want your followers to engage with your brand. You do not want your followers to simply follow you and they never say anything. You do not want your followers to go and start following someone else because you're not as engaged as you should be. So a couple of examples of engagement. When they are commenting on your Facebook and on your blog, that's engagement. When they are retweeting your tweets, that's engagement. When they are sharing your YouTube videos, when they are hashtagging and replying, that is engagement. So the question I have for you, are you or your small business, are you actively engaging on social media? And I know for some of you, you're thinking, well, Dr. K, I have a small business and it's not quite the type of business. Folks, every business is that type of business, because the more you can pull those consumers in or those potential markets in, the more likely you're able to retain these customers and that they're able to recommend you via word of mouth because of your social engagement. So it's an absolute necessity here. All right, moving forward. All right, now here's an interesting point here. Once you have your customers engaged online, once they're on your Facebook page for your business and they're asking and they're leaving comments and they're asking when's your next appointment, and you have everything set up there, they're going to expect you to continue the conversation. So you can't essentially start engagement and then just cut it off. That's one of the worst things that you can do. You want to get them excited about something, and you don't want to disappear in the middle of your conversation. All right. So the bottom line here is, folks, you want to be committed to enabling your customers to interact and engage with you, and you want to start what you finish what you started. All right? So the key here is engage, engage, engage. Does that make sense to everyone? All right? Engage, engage, and engage. Absolutely. So with that in mind, that's our first half of our session here. So we're going to take a look at really quickly here, social media and how to actually manage the platforms that you'll actually be using. So we're going to talk about that really quickly here. So I'm going to share my screen. Here, we'll share my screen really quickly here. All right, so here we are, and I'm going to share my screen really quickly here. Let's take a look at this. And I think this is important as well. Now, here we are. These are some trends that are happening in social media right now in 2015. And I'm scrolling down. This is a great infographic that demonstrates some of the biggest developments. Now, and we're going to talk about the major platforms that you absolutely need to be on and how to use them. So here's our first trend. Number one, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn are essential. If you're a small business or as an entrepreneur, if you're not on these sites, you need to be. All right, let's look at the share of business that actually uses for marketing. Let's take a look at that. So it says here, a survey of 3,720 marketers from around the world found that now the three major sites, which are Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, are core tools for engaging your customers. So first and foremost, as we've talked about, and we're talking about creating your strategy, you want to go ahead and get these platforms set up. So Facebook, we're looking at this here, 93% of business owners are using Facebook for marketing, 79% on Twitter and 71% on LinkedIn. And I have to tell you from a personal perspective, I am on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Those were actually the first three social media platforms that I started with my business as well as my personal brand. All right. Number two, really quickly here, Pinterest, and we'll talk about Pinterest in greater detail, is deeper than you think. So it's much more than, and you'll see it from the onset. You'll think design, you'll think food and women's fashion, but it's quickly growing. It was once particularly known for just being a woman's site, but it's growing very popular with men, and it's very content rich. So again, it's a 96% increase in men's fashion pins, and it's a 118% increase in car and motorcycle pins. And you can literally create your own entire avenue on Pinterest. It can be about absolutely anything that you would like. And interestingly enough, you'll see the pins there, and you'll be repinned depending on who's following your boards. All right. Facebook has become a huge video platform. For how many of us do we watch video on Facebook? All right. Now, Facebook CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, and that's the gentleman that we saw a little bit earlier on one of the slides there, he said that he expects the social network's news feed to be mostly video in 5 years. Mostly video. So, folks, the day of written content is pretty much gone. Most of the time, we're watching video or some form of video. All right, so let's look at Facebook videos by the numbers here. 50% of daily active users watch at least one video per day. 75% of video views occur on mobile devices. How many of us actually watch video on our mobile devices? Let's think about that for a moment. All right, and 53% of views come from shares. All right, so 4 billion views per day in the first quarter of 2015. 4 billion on Facebook. All right. E-commerce integration is getting better. Now, as a marketer, if you think about it for a moment here, people are beginning to buy on, or not beginning, online purchasing and online buying has become very, very popular. Sites such as Groupon, the social sites, all of the above, even with your Facebooks, your Google, your Twitter, all the above are becoming e-commerce based as well. So there's opportunity to purchase products, your small business products, your entrepreneurial products through social media. All right. Facebook has sponsored post buy buttons. They have buy buttons there. Google has buy with Google in terms of a mobile app. Twitter has the buy button in sponsored tweets. So they're beginning to integrate that into their platforms. What does that say about your small business? You have opportunities there, not just based on your website, not just based on them contacting you one-on-one, but you have the opportunity to really maximize social media and make it a platform that your consumers can actually purchase your products or services. All right. And messaging apps are becoming more and more and more popular. The messaging apps. So 6 of the 10 top most widely used apps globally are your messaging apps. All right. So again, it's very popular here. All right. Facebook is 1. The WhatsApp is 2. Facebook Messenger 3. Instagram is 4, of course. 5 Line, 6 Viper, and the list goes on. All right. So again, these are 5 very important trends in terms of social media in 2016. All right. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, again, these are things that you should be watching, folks, because you all are in small business and you have to be aware of these things. All right. So let's talk about your tips for managing your social media. And then we're going to get into the various social media platforms and if it's going to be a good fit for your business. So here are a couple tips, and I definitely want you all to jot these down. So we've talked about your goals, and we've talked about connecting and engagement, and we've talked about continuously being engaged and coming up with a good social media strategy. So let's talk about a couple tips for actually managing your social media. First thing first, what are you hoping to accomplish? What are some of the things that you want to accomplish with social media? Are you wanting to just increase sales? Do you want to improve your customer service? I know that, initially when you're introducing a small business or entrepreneurial venture into social media, the goal is, of course, to increase sales. You want to increase visibility. You want to get your name out there. And then for those of you who already have your businesses developed, you want to know about your customer service and you want to continually reach your consumers and follow up and engage them. So these are the basic objectives that you need to start with. Are you looking to increase your visibility for your brand? What exactly do you want to accomplish? All right, so that's number 1. Start with your basic objectives. And then also, you want to start small and be selective. And why do I say that? Because there are literally hundreds of social media platforms online now. I mean, there are literally so many different ways. As I was doing the research a couple months back here, just looking at the developments in social media and how many different platforms have popped up over the past year or so, there are literally hundreds of platforms that have evolved. And I say that because I want you all to start small and be selective. I don't want you to create such a overwhelming platform that you can't effectively manage and maintain them and actively engage with your customers. So again, you want to start small and then build upon it. All right. Hone in on your target audience. So question for my up and coming entrepreneurs here. How many of you have a clearly defined target audience? That's a message that we touched on when we talked about market research. Understanding exactly who your target audience is. And once you've honed in on that target audience, you're going to develop your social strategy. You're going to choose those sites that are actually the primary sites in which you'll connect with that target audience. You're going to choose that content strategy that's going to be relatable to that target audience. All right? Primary question that you'll be guided by is, who is your audience? Does that make sense to everyone? All right, moving on. All right, coming up with a memorable handle. Now, these are those little incidentals that we don't automatically think of when we think of social media. But interestingly enough, you want to have something that's memorable. Those little handles with Twitter, mine is actually at Dr. K Green. It's at Dr. RK Green. And I say that because it's one of those things that just that additional letter, it differentiates my name from other potential marketers in my industry. All right. I've seen I've seen people say I'm the real, whatever that is. I've seen people say expert zone. I've seen, just all types of different variations, but you want to come up with something that's memorable. And I say that because what's in a name? Well, people typically, they want to create a handle, and you want to create this for your business as well. Something that people can recognize across all of your social brands. So I want you to think of it. Once you create that handle, it needs to be very consistent across all of your social brands so that when they see your business, they think of that handle. All right. Is that clear to everyone? All right. Number 5 here, build a social media team. And what does that mean, building a social media team? As I mentioned in our marketing research discussion here, having interns is an excellent way to, one, help those college students who are majoring in marketing and business and who need the experience. And then also, it's been very effective to have some part-timers to work with you that will help you with social media. All right, some of those social media consultants, part-timers, interns, all the above, you need to build an effective social media team. And the interesting thing is, it does not take a huge budget to do so. You need those people who are very eager and very familiar with social media. All right, the 18 to 24 group are very effective. They understand the platforms. They are frequently on social media. They understand how to engage, and they're a great way to build a social media team that's going to help you manage all of your accounts. And also, you want to get your pacing right. And what do I mean by pacing? Well, that was one of our true-false questions there. There's often a time of day and days of the week that are going to be more effective than others. And then also, you need to think about how often you're going to post on your social media sites. Is it going to be a daily thing? Is it going to be a weekly thing? Is it going to be monthly? I mean, how much are you going to engage? As a rule of thumb, I say it's very important that when you're starting a business and you're trying to really maximize and manage your brand, whether it's the smallest of the smallest business or the largest of the largest corporation, you need to be on that social media site at least 3 to 5 times per day. All right? Very important there. And it doesn't have to be these lengthy tweets, but you need to begin to create a way of engaging with your consumers. All right? And you want to do it within certain times of day. All right? Have a schedule, but show flexibility. Once you figured out how many times you're going to post on your social sites, the next question again is when. You want to have a schedule. You want to make sure that you're being consistent. All right? And if you see that sometimes the engagement is happening at a certain time on your sites, then you'll be flexible enough to adjust that accordingly. All right, being authentic and personable. Why is that important? I've heard that so many times from our small businesses. They're saying, well, hey, Kay, we're just trying to get our message out there to the consumers. Why is it important to be authentic and to be personable? Well, I want you to think about this. Most people on social media are really, they'll point out their opinions. And a lot of the time when they're giving customer reviews and that type of thing, honesty is the key. And what research has actually found is that the more authentic and personable you are on social media, the more people tend to like your brand or your small business. So you want to make friends by being yourself. You want to connect with your colleagues and your clients by being yourself and by being authentic and very open when it comes to really creating content and posting for your brand. All right. Number 10, mixing up your content offerings. Now, and we're going to actually talk about content marketing in detail in just a moment here, but you want to mix up the content that you'll be using. And when I say content can come in the form of, like I said, blogs, articles, podcasts, YouTubes, all of the above. Well, the interesting thing about content offerings, you want your content to engage. All right. You don't want to create a commercial, the traditional commercial type of content marketing, something that's just pushing your product or pushing your service. It needs to be creative. You want to use your own original content and you want to add value. You can actually use content from other websites as long as you give credit and really create and mix up the type of content that you're putting out on social media. All right. Number 11, link, and link again. What does that mean? Everything that you do on social media, once you're up and running, you've created that strategy, you've selected your social media platforms that you'll be using, you've created the content that you're actually going to use to be submitted out on social media and blogs and that type of thing. You want to link it and link it and link it again. And link it all the way back to your website, link it back to your Google pages, link it back to your Facebook, your blog, all of the above. All right. And then number 12, measuring the results of your social media. And we'll talk about that in further detail a little bit later on. Benchmarking your social media success. There are ways to figure out what's working, what's not, and how do we get to the point of what's working again. All right. So whether you want to increase sales, whether you want better service, or you want more exposure, whatever the case may be, you have to see, one, if you're meeting your goals, and two, if there's a need to revamp your strategy. All right. Does that make sense to everyone? All right. One, you want to also, when you're thinking about putting together your platforms, you don't want to have 5 different platforms that you're posting different content to at the same time. It needs to be a standardized message that goes across the board. So one of the things that can be very confusing about social media is that all of these accounts can be very confusing. I mean, if you have a Facebook and you have a Twitter and a Pinterest and a Vimeo and a Vine and all these different accounts, yes, it can be very confusing. So one of the things that you want to do is coordinate and create a central dashboard that's going to manage all of these accounts. And all of these accounts, I might add, they have the option to link to the other accounts. So in essence, when you post something on Instagram, you can automatically have it linked to your Facebook, and then it's automatically linked to your Twitter and to your LinkedIn and to all the above, so that you're creating one centralized message and it's being shared across the board, and that you're managing all of these platforms from one dashboard. All right. 14, adding value for your customers. Adding value for your customers. Now, I'm going to tell you, from my perspective, I don't think there's anything more important than adding value for your customers. And why do I say that? Well, I want you to think about this. Once you begin interacting with your customers, you want to ask them what's in it. What do they want from your business? What would they like to see happen with your business? What would add value? So I want you to think about this. Once you begin interacting, what approach should you take? What should you really say? Because the bottom line here, folks, your customers drive your business. For those of you that have been in entrepreneurship, I'm sure that you know Your customers drive your business. And for those of you who are aspiring entrepreneurs, and this is your first time actually creating this business plan, your customers are what's going to drive your business. So your main focus needs to be on how can your business add value for your customers. All right, number 15, making valuable business connections. When you're building your social presence, just as if you would be networking in the traditional sense, you need to be networking in the social media sense. So when you're building your social presence, you need to be building those ever more important business relationships and connections, because these are the same companies, those same individuals who may just help you later on. All right. And number 16, tracking your company's reputation. And I know you're saying, oh my goodness, well, do I have a reputation online? Absolutely. Interestingly enough, people believe more of what they see online than when they actually see you face to face. So I can't tell you just how important it is for you to track your company's reputation. You're not the only one that's talking about you, folks. All right, other people are too. So you want to keep tabs on your company's reputation. All right, is that clear to everyone? Make sure that you know. All right, so now that we've talked about those main nuggets in terms of managing your company's social media reputation and managing the platforms, let's talk about the platforms and what works right for you. Now, as the statistics actually mention, Facebook, of course, is going to be probably your first place to start. All right. Now, here's a couple things that I want you to pay attention to. And as it mentions, 93% of all marketers are using Facebook to promote their businesses. So it's one of the first places that you want to start. So go ahead and create your Facebook profile for your business or your upcoming business venture. All right. So a couple important things here that we want to pay attention to. Facebook is right for your business if you're building a community presence or you want to reach as broad a network as possible, because as we know, everyone's on Facebook, right? Everyone's on Facebook. It's losing traction among the, college market because they're innovators, of course, and they're going to different platforms and experiencing other things. But for the masses, literally worldwide, Facebook is everywhere. So if you're wanting to build that community presence and reach as broad an audience as possible, you want to start with Facebook. So let's, number one, create your Facebook profile for your business. All right. And connecting with consumers who are close and personal to your business, Facebook would be great too. So once you create your Facebook profile for your business, you can start creating a list of your consumers that you've serviced before. You can actually create a database that has your consumers there, and make sure that you get their email addresses so that, or in their Facebook handles, so that you can connect with them there and you can share what's going on with your business. You can have trivia on Facebook. You can invite them to different contests, sweepstakes, word of mouth savings, that type of thing. There's quite a few things that you can actually do with Facebook. And let's take a look. Let's take a closer look at how we can actually use Facebook for your business. Let's take a look at that really quickly here. So I'm going to share my screen here. All right, so let's take a look.
Hey guys, Brian Fleming from BuildingSocialProof.com. This week we're going to talk about Facebook for Business and just where to start. So watch the video. I'm going to set you on the right track of getting started with Facebook for your business and how to grow it. I know you'll like the video. Take care. Using Facebook for Business in 2015. Where to start? One of the biggest tips most business owners need with Facebook in 2015 is just knowing where to start. Over the last few years, Facebook has undergone a ton of changes. Many things you see and read about online for using Facebook for business just do not work anymore. In this video, I will show you where to start and give you a great overall strategy that will get you real results for your business. So let's talk about where to start. Well, if you've not done so already, you need to make a Facebook page for your business. Believe it or not, it is not very hard to do. The biggest place I see people make mistakes is trying to use a separate account for their business. Do not make this mistake. Your Facebook page needs to be created under your own personal profile. You can assign staff to manage it for you later. Maybe you are worried that Facebook will mix up your personal and business stuff together. If so, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. The good news is Facebook will keep your personal profile and your business activities completely separate. To see exactly how to set up your Facebook page for business, read my article, and I put a link in the description. This article will even show you how to get one of your employees to be responsible for your new Facebook page, using their own Facebook login and not yours. So let's talk about what to do next. Well, after you've set up your Facebook page, you need to look at the Facebook ad system. Facebook has created the most powerful advertising platform the world has ever seen. So use it. Most business owners spend countless hours trying to build up likes on their page. The worst part is, if you ask them why they are doing this, they can't really answer the question. The reason they can't answer the question is because Facebook changed the rules on how likes work. You see, it used to be back a few years ago, if you had 1,000 people who liked your page and posted something like a 2-day sale on it, all 1,000 people who liked your page would see your message. Then one day, pretty much out of nowhere, Facebook changed the game for businesses. Now you're lucky if only 50 or 100 people ever see your post. It gets worse too, because the exact kind of messages that you would want to send to your clients to get them to buy your services are the exact kind of messages that Facebook does not want those people to see. Post a status update like this to your Facebook page, and you will not even get 25 out of 1,000 people to ever see it. Simply put, it's a bad deal for you. The good news is, once you figure out Facebook's ad system, your messages will end up right in people's newsfeed, leaving all your competitors in the dust. It'll be a huge boost for your business, but you need to use Facebook's ad system to get these kind of benefits that can really move your business forward with social media. So you need to be using Facebook ads for your business. Now, let's talk about how do you go about learning Facebook ads. Well, you can search around on Google for tips on using Facebook ads, and like other information on Facebook, most of what you will find was written a few years ago. It's completely outdated by now. I mean, the screenshots do not even match anymore. Facebook's ad platform is still pretty new. This is great news for you because ad rates are still pretty low. Just know that their ad platform is constantly changing. What you need to develop is a simple overall strategy for how you will use Facebook's ad system. Unfortunately, Facebook gives you a lot of choices on how you can run your ads. It can be very confusing and expensive to just start trying things to just see what happens. I run a free webinar where you can learn my 7 proven steps to grow your business with Facebook.
All right. So with that in mind, really quickly here,
Twitter is another one of the
let's take a
social
look
media.
at, I'm going to share my screen here really quickly. All right. So in terms of Facebook, if you're trying to build a community presence and you want to reach that broad audience, Facebook is going to be your platform. All right, so it's a great way to start. And again, it's free in terms of creating it. So it's no money out of your own pocket to really start advertising on this particular site. All right, moving on to Twitter. Moving forward to Twitter. So how many of you, and I'm throwing this question out here to my listeners, how many of you actually have used Facebook and Twitter and any of the other platforms in the past in terms of managing your businesses? And for how many of you who are starting your small businesses or working on your first business plan here, do you plan to actually use specific platforms? As I mentioned, Facebook, great way to start. Twitter as well. So I want you, I'm going to take a look here at Twitter. And here's some interesting facts about Twitter, and is it right for your business? Now, if you want to reach both men and women, especially those who may be a little bit younger, Twitter is going to be a great platform from you. It is a social media broadcast system. All right. And Twitter appeals to those information junkies. So if your business is topic based, or you want specific insights, or there's always news that's going on within your business, Twitter is going to be a great choice because it's real time. It's 140 characters or less, and you're able to interact very quickly. So it's constantly going. And it's also a way to engage in a two-way platform, and you can respond to and engage with your followers. So we're going to take a closer look as well here. I'm going to share my screen. All right, and we're going to look at Twitter as a platform. All right, so here we are. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this here.
Target audience through the use of Twitter. Twitter is another one of the social media giants that you need to leverage as a small business owner. It's built around a foundation of microblogging, posts with 140 characters or less, and is another incredible way to connect with your target audience if you use it properly. There are over 550 million active Twitter users. This means that more likely than not, your target audience is already on Twitter, and so is your competition. 70% of small businesses are on Twitter. This means that more likely than not, your competition is using Twitter to get ahead. So whether you have never used Twitter in your life or you already have an account for your business, this information is going to be valuable for you to ensure that you are using Twitter effectively and staying ahead of your competition. Unlike Facebook, posting multiple times per day on Twitter is a common practice and socially acceptable. If you post around noon and between 5 and 6 p.m., more people are going to be seeing your posts because that is when Twitter receives the most traffic. Keeping your posts to 15 words or under is going to create more engagement with your followers. Use your own photo instead of your company's logo on your Twitter page. This adds a personal touch to your page by putting a face to your company and causes your followers to feel like they are communicating with a real person instead of just a big business. When posting on Twitter, be sure to stay relevant to your industry and appropriate, but don't forget to engage in conversation with your followers. This conversation is what helps you build solid relationships and create lifelong customers. The most important thing to keep in mind when using Twitter is to continually engage in conversation with your followers. When somebody uses a hashtag to mention your business in a post, comment on it. If someone uses @mention to tag you in a post, comment on it. When you respond to what people are saying to your business or about your business on Twitter, you are making it clear that you do care what people have to say and that you are paying attention to them. People love this, and it makes them love your company. If you tweet frequently, keep your tweets relevant, and are sure to respond to your fans and customers, you will be headed straight for success with Twitter. Successfully managing a Twitter page for your business can be a daunting task and is most definitely time-consuming, but well worth the benefit it brings by fostering relationships with your target audience. If you need help setting up an...
All right. So I thought it was really interesting there that it pointed out just how important it is to post multiple times on Twitter. So, and I bring that point up here because what may not work on one site is going to work on the other. And that's why it's important to have multiple sites in which you are constantly posting your messages and your content and all the above, and engaging, as you mentioned, engaging with your clients. And again, depending on the platform itself, folks, it's going to depend on how you're going to engage. So very interesting there. For example, Facebook allows for more lengthier posts, while Twitter only allows for very short posts. But you can post as much as you want on Twitter. All right, so very important point there. All right, so moving forward, let's take a look at LinkedIn. Now, as we know, LinkedIn is going to be that platform that you're going to use to not only promote your business, but you're going to use that to connect with other businesses in your industry, potential business to business. And when I say business to business, because you're in business, you're going to need supplies, and you're going to need, or you may have other businesses that want to purchase from your business. So whether you're in B2B or B2C, LinkedIn is going to be a great resource for you because you're able to, recruit for new talent. That's very important. So it's going to be right for your business if you want to do that. Two, when you want to seek business connections, when you want to have a network, a peer network. It's great you have forums that you can join, groups that are similar to your business, all the above. And when you want to target a specific audience with a specific message, LinkedIn is great. All right, let's take a look. We're going to take a closer look here. And I'm going to share my screen really quickly here at how we use LinkedIn. All right, so let's take a look at that. We'll exit out of here and let's take a look at LinkedIn. Here we are.
Hey guys, Lewis Howes here, and I'm in sunny California, my condo building. And there are a number of different ways to grow your business online. And it can be very overwhelming with all the different tools and resources that are available for yourself. But there's one critical tool, LinkedIn, that you cannot afford to overlook. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 ways to leverage LinkedIn to grow your business. So let's dive in. Hey guys, Lewis Howes here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 LinkedIn marketing tips. There's a lot of great tools and websites out there that you can use on social media, but LinkedIn is really the main one when you want to grow your business. Now, we all want more leads, traffic, and sales, right? But there's a different approach when you use a LinkedIn in order to get those leads, traffic, and sales. And the great Zig Ziglar has a great approach to this. Now, Zig said, you can have everything you want in life if you'll just help other people get what they want in life. And I think that's a great quote and a great message for all areas of business and life, but it comes specific to when using LinkedIn. When I first started using LinkedIn, I was overwhelmed, like a lot of people, with social media. There was Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, blogging. Everything was happening online, and there's still a lot of sites coming out. But a good mentor and friend of mine suggested that I actually get on LinkedIn and focus my opportunities there. And within a couple of short years, I had built a multi-million-dollar business while leveraging pretty much only LinkedIn. And here are the top 5 things that I did to grow my business. Point number 1, make sure to complete your profile. So a lot of people set up their profile, they maybe fill out half of it, or maybe even complete it 100% based on LinkedIn terms. But you've got to really make it compelling, add advanced applications, tell people who you are, who you help, and how you help them, and really just share your story throughout your entire profile. So complete your profile, that's number 1. Number 2, make sure to connect with everyone. Don't just connect with your personal connections that you already know, but start branching out and reaching out to new people that you want to connect with, people in your industry, other leaders, people in your local market. The more you connect with interesting people, people you don't know, the more your opportunities are going to expand and grow. Number 3, make sure to endorse and recommend others. The best way to receive endorsements and recommendations is to give them first. So just start going through some of your close friends and colleagues and start endorsing them for the skills that they have and recommending them. Leave nice little messages on their profile that are like testimonials so other people can see how good of a job they really do in business. Number 4, make sure to create your own targeted LinkedIn group. Now, I created a group called the Sports Industry Network, and it now has over 100,000 of the top sports executives from around the world. Now, this allows me to have more influence in the sports industry. It allows me to send a message once a week to all 100,000 plus members, getting me more traffic, more leads, and more sales for my sports company. So make sure to create your own special group. And number 5, make sure to optimize your profile for search rankings. So just like you would on Google, you want to optimize your website for keywords, you want to do the same thing on LinkedIn. People are searching every single day for experts, for thought leaders, for consultants, for freelancers to hire to solve problems in their business. So you want to make sure you add specific keywords throughout your entire profile. Once you do that, you'll start to see your profile and your name move up the rankings on LinkedIn. So I've got an action step for you. What I want you to do right now is head over to your LinkedIn profile, go log in right now, and follow these 5 steps I just shared with you. So make sure to head over to lewishowes.com.
All right. Amazing. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here really quickly. And I think it's amazing. One of the key things I actually love about LinkedIn is because you can connect with so many different people among so many different professions. And as Lewis mentioned there, it's an amazing opportunity to share your expertise and to join groups and to really, it's not only about engaging and connecting, but it's so much about networking and getting ideas from others within your industry and within other industries and all the above. So absolutely, I think that's one of the greatest clips here that he has. And those were excellent tips, especially with regard to creating your own group. So I definitely want you to be thinking about that. All right, moving on. Google Plus. Now, I know that for many of us, we're like, how is Google Plus one of the main platforms there? Interestingly enough, Google Plus has a lot of great benefits. It's not a Facebook of the world, of course, it's not a Twitter, but it has great benefits because the name is Google. So it's going to help your business because it keeps the marketer's attention. Google is Google, all right? So it doesn't matter if it's Google Plus or Google Glasses or the Google search engine or just Googling it. It's because of the brand, and because the brand is so big, you might as well join Google Plus. And it's going to be right for your business if you're already on Google. So for how many of us are we already somehow affiliated with Google? All right. Local Google listings are connected to Google Plus, and it's going to help your search engine rankings. And we'll talk about, well, actually, we're going to take a look at the clip that talks about how to use Google Plus for your business. So I'm going to share my screen once again really quickly here. And we'll exit from here. And let's look at how we're going to use Google for our business.
Google Plus is Google itself, and we're doing this so that we have a better understanding of who you are. Now, what he's not saying there, obviously, is so that we can make more money. Because if we understand you better, and we can tie all of this stuff together, how you use search, what you do on YouTube, what you do on your phone. Why do you think they started Android and bought AdMob for $750 million? Because they know that we're doing more and more on our phone, and I'll get to that. If we understand you better, we can target ads better. If we target ads better, advertisers will spend more money. So this is the future of Google. They are going to make this work. They have tied every single employee bonus to the success of Google+. They're serious about this. So, how does that affect our businesses? Where do we need to skate to get advantage from this trend? The only thing you need to do for this for now is to build your Google Plus page. Look, if the Dalai Lama has a page, maybe it's time we as business people did too. If this guy has a page, maybe you should too. And it changes the results. It doesn't automatically mean you will improve your search engine optimization. It doesn't automatically mean you're going to show up at the top of Google. But think about how this might work. If the Dalai Lama has 1.5 million people that follow him on Google+. Okay, so let me back up. It's all about Facebook. If I like a business on Facebook, that action, that like, appears on my Facebook page, and some of my friends might see that. About 1 in 7, if you believe the stats. The problem is, then it's gone. And as soon as I do the next thing, that gets pushed down the newsfeed. The benefit of this is it's there forevermore for everyone to see. So if one of my friends likes my website, everybody that is connected to any of those people from now on, when they search, are going to see their mates' smiling faces and their names next to that result. So if you can build a large following of people, and there's a flower company in the States, this is the best example I could find, a flower company, you can't get more boring than that, they sell flour. They have 130,000 people that follow them on Google+. So if they can do it, you can do it. Because this changes search. From now on, someone comes up, so the more people that you have that you're connected to, the more chance you have of one of their friends showing up next to your website. Your competitors are not doing this yet. Start a Google+ page. Now this next bit isn't in Australia yet, but I want you to be aware of it because it will roll out probably this year. It's called Search Plus Your World. If you look at the green arrow there, you will now be able to choose between personalized results and the normal web. Now this is live in the States. It's not here yet, but it won't be far away. You'll be able to turn these results on and off, but it will become very quickly the standard. When you use Google, it'll be turned on by default. So you want to build that following on Google+. It's also going to change the paid results in exactly the same way. Now, I don't have to have someone click the +1 button next to my ad. They just have to hit +1 button on my site. They're not liking my ad. If someone has liked my page, they've clicked this +1 button, which I've got on my website, exactly like we saw before with the free results, now they're going to see their mate's smiling face next to your ad. Now, Greg and Will have talked to you about AdWords before. You know that it's not a case of she with the biggest wallet wins. You don't just bid your way to the top of Google. There's this thing called quality there. And the ads that get clicked on the most basically get mate rates. The better you do it, the cheaper it gets.
All right. So a couple reasons there as to why you should be using Google+. And the main reason I want to definitely highlight is that if you're already on Google, if you're already running those Google ads, those pay-per-click ads on Google, which are not very expensive, by the way, if you're doing, if you're conducting online marketing, if you're running those Google+ ads or those Google ads, it's a great way to, Google+ is an add-in for those Google ads that you may be running. And also, every time that they Google your business, your Google+ page is going to come up. So again, it's a great way to really maximize Google as a search engine. All right, how about YouTube? YouTube, home of the video. Now, as Mark Zuckerberg mentioned, that literally everything that we do is going to be based on video in the next upcoming years. Everything is becoming video. People are using video left and right, and I would not want you to deny your business the same. It doesn't matter the industry that you're in, the product or services that you're using. If your product and service, if you deem your product and service to be interesting and it's engaging, YouTube is going to be right for your business. If you are starting some type of petition, if you have a campaign for your business, if you're promoting a nonprofit organization, and even some for-profits, if you want to generate brand awareness or just simply showcase your product or service, YouTube is going to be right for your business. All right, let's take a closer look at YouTube really quickly here. I'm going to share my screen. All right, and we'll exit out of here. And let's take a look at YouTube marketing.
Right now, in this video, I'm going to show you the best types of videos to be using if you're using YouTube to market your business, your website, or your blog. A whiteboard video? I don't think so. Stay tuned. So nowadays, everybody has heard that you need to be doing video marketing. And if you haven't heard that yet, you probably haven't subscribed to my channel, so go ahead and do that now. Now, if you are a savvy business owner, you may have already started with your video marketing. But there's one problem I see over and over again. When people put up videos, usually their first thought is to do a video about the services they offer and why you should hire them. And although there are a few rare occasions where that is a good idea, I want you to really just break out of that mindset. Instead, try to educate your viewer, help them out, add value into their life, and always end your video with a call to action, whether it's to visit your website, sign up for your newsletter, or visit your Facebook page. And when you do this, a few things start to happen. Number one, you establish yourself as the authority or expert in your niche because they just watched you on YouTube, and you just proved you know exactly what you're talking about, which means in the future, anytime that viewer has a need for a product or a service that you offer, they know exactly where to go, to you, because you're the expert. Now, some people are afraid to give out too much information on their YouTube videos because they think the viewer is going to go and do it themselves. Well, I got some news for you. Newsflash, read all about it. Did you hear? Did you hear? Yeah, that person was never going to hire them anyway, whether or not they did the video. Can you believe it? That's right. Even if you gave out too much information, that person went off and did it themselves, they were never going to hire you in the first place because they were looking for free information, and they would have gone on to someone else's video until they found out how to do it. But the smart business owner that you are going to want as a client understands the value of hiring someone who knows what the heck they're talking about. So when they see your video, they see you as the expert, and boom, baby, you just got a new client. And the second thing that happens when you create these educational or value-adding videos is that your viewer is way more likely to follow your call to action. It's pretty simple. If you add value to someone's life, you give them valuable information, and you help them out, they're going to want more of that. If you tell them how to get it, they're going to listen. Now, the third thing that happens is when people get information they find value in, they tend to share it with other people they think will appreciate it, which means your video is going to begin spreading all over the internet, and you're going to get more people watching your video, and that's just not possible with a video talking about your services. Now, I don't want you to get hung up on how to produce the videos or edit them or film them or what style to use. Just add value, help them out, educate them, have a call to action at the end of your video. Because here's the thing, if your video is filled with good information, people are going to share it even if they don't like your style, like the way you talk, or even if they don't like you. Take this guy, for example. He didn't like my video. How dare him! In fact, he said it was difficult to watch. Even though he thought my video was difficult to watch, he still shared it on Google Plus because the valuable information overpowered everything else he didn't like about the video. I mean, you can literally dress up in Batman pajamas or a desperate nerd looking for people to join his wolf pack. He's behind me, isn't he? Wow. I mean, it really doesn't matter. As long as you deliver valuable information that people appreciate, you're going to grow your business or your website way faster than if you were to just sell to people. And to prove that to you, I have a little surprise for you in just a few seconds. But first, what I want you to do is hit the thumbs up button.
All right. So very interesting points there. And this is actually one of my favorite videos there, because the gentleman makes a valid point. You don't want to get caught up into how we're going to produce the video and all the above. The main thing is to just produce your video and provide something of value. So for example, if you're in the organic health industry and you're into organic eating and you're starting a business that's based on organic living, provide a step-by-step guide in terms of transitioning into an organic lifestyle, or give little tips on how to become more organic or more green, on green living, that type of thing. Remember, we're adding value and not just pushing your agenda, and video can be a great way for you to create that. So when you're thinking about your business plans, it will be great for you to include some video there to really demonstrate how you would actually market your business. All right. Moving forward, Instagram. Let's talk about Instagram. Now, I know for many of us, Instagram may not be the first choice for social media, but it can be a great tool because, as we know, video and pictures. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. Video is obviously worth more than that today. All right. So if you're building a community presence and you want, again, to meet a large percentage of your network, and if your consumers are really big on photos and they're really big on video, it's going to be very important. So let's take a look at Instagram. I'm going to share my screen really quickly here. I'll share it. All right, let's take a look at Instagram.
You may be wondering if Instagram can help your small business. Well, it can do that and more. Instagram offers almost everything a business user could want in a social network, so much so that it might be the most effective platform out there. Businesses have been flocking to Instagram in droves. Nike, Starbucks, Apple, Disney, and Allstate, just to name a few. Don't be left out. In this video, we'll cover tips on how you can use your images and video to reach customers on Instagram. The first tip is to subscribe to the Instagram for Business blog. In response to the number of businesses that have started using the platform, Instagram started the business blog, which offers tips, brand spotlights, API examples, and news from the Instagram HQ. Another important thing to remember is to balance fun images with serious pictures from your business. Having a sense of humor is usually appreciated by all social media followers, so don't be afraid to show yours. By taking advantage of the space, you can tell your story in images. By tracking the engagement of your images, you will be able to quickly see what your followers like best. Of course, you'll want to cultivate a following. The tips for getting more followers on Instagram are the same for any other social media site. Cross-promote. Connect your Instagram account to your Facebook account as well as your website. Post some of your Instagram images to your Facebook page with a hashtag that aligns with your brand image or current campaign. This will expand your reach. When you use hashtags, be sure they are relevant and, if possible, use trending or popular hashtags. You can build your following by being engaged, so be sure to follow others in your field and like their photos. Another tip is to use Instagram's video option. Instagram has given Vine some serious competition. Instagram allows for 15-second filter-enabled videos, whereas Vine limits videos to 6 seconds. If you make your own videos, use Instagram's video feature to promote the full video on your other social media sites. You can record a special announcement about the video or use a clip from the video. Be creative. By the way, you can embed your Instagram video in your blog or website. The embed feature is in the Instagram desktop web browser version. Since you never know who will see your shares on a social networking platform, embed your Instagram video in your blog or website. Doing so further extends the reach of your content. One of the more frequently asked questions we get is about how often one should post. Our advice is to have a flexible posting plan. You do not need to post on Instagram every day. When you first start, you may feel the need to fill up the page. Instagram has a mostly laid-back atmosphere, and you don't want to overwhelm your followers. If you post dozens of images at once, it will saturate your followers' feed. Instead, decide what you have ready to post and then create a schedule for posting. Don't dump everything on your followers at once. Give them a reason to come back. The most important thing to take away from using Instagram is that you should have fun with it. The platform is simply visual, so explore all the possibilities it brings. You never know, your business could become the next big name to follow. Thanks for watching.
All right, very interesting. So it shows new ways to really engage on Instagram. And who knew, if you have a business that's visual in nature, then of course you can take pictures of your work, your product, your services, before and afters, customer testimonials. There's just a host of things that you can do. And as the young lady said in the video, link them all together so that we have one standardized brand or promotion or message that we're trying to get across. All right. So our final platform that we're going to focus on here is Pinterest. All right. And I know that I have a lot of you saying, well, how can I use Pinterest with my business? Well, Pinterest is right for your business if you're in a highly visual industry and customers, again, who are stimulated through images. And if your business can be visually represented, Pinterest is really big with women. And if you're already active on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, which all of you should be, and if you spend a lot of time on your computer researching products, services that might fit your consumers, and if you write blogs and articles to support your business, which we're going to talk about content marketing coming up next. So let's take a look at Pinterest and how we can engage with small business. All right, here we are.
Everybody, David Hay here from davidhay.org, and today I want to show you how to set up a killer Pinterest account that's going to drive you tons of traffic, get you tons of leads, and is going to start making you some serious money online. Now, before we get into this, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. In 2007, I started a small business with a single printer running out of the back of my garage. Today, I have over 15 employees. Last year, our company was on the Inc. 5000, and it was also the 39th fastest growing company in San Diego. Now, I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this so you understand when I talk about internet marketing, I know what I'm doing. I'm not here to make a couple $100 bucks. I'm here to show you guys how to set up real internet strategies and give you real examples of strategies that have personally worked for me so that you can sort of save yourself that massive learning curve that's involved when you're learning how to do social media marketing. Now, there's two steps that are critical into making a successful Pinterest account. The first is the initial setup, because if the setup is wrong, it doesn't matter how much promotion you do, it's not going to get the traction and it's not going to bring in the traffic. And then the second part of this is also the automation, because once you have the account set up, it's not really very realistic to think that you can just sit there every single day, liking and commenting on all these other people's posts, just because as a business owner, and especially a small business owner, you don't have those type of resources. So we're going to break this into the first part, which is actually setting up a good Pinterest account, and the second part, which is using some type of automated software so that you're not there every single day spending hours and hours and hours on your account, and yet you're still seeing some of these really positive results. All right, so let's jump into this. The first mistake that business owners make when they sign up for a Pinterest account is that the only thing that they want to do is talk about themselves. And there's a couple problems with this. Pinterest is really a website where users are going there to be inspired. They're not looking so much to be sold something. They're looking for ideas to make their business or their project better. So if you're just selling widgets or signs and all I do is just post hundreds and hundreds of pictures of signs that aren't very interesting as they're coming out of the production office, it's not really going to gain any traction. Nobody's going to like it. Nobody's going to say, oh my gosh, you got to check out this page. But if I think a little bit more broadly about my business and I think about the type of customers that I might be able to attract, and I change my track and say, hey, let me tell you how to make your next wedding fantastic. Let me show you how to really improve the quality or the presentation of your next wedding. Now, every single bride-to-be is going to be really, really interested in my site. The second part of this that a lot of business owners struggle with is when they create a page for their business, the only thing that they post is content that they've created. And the biggest problem with this is I think it's sort of arrogant to think that you own 100% of the market or you're the most knowledgeable person in the market and that there's absolutely nothing else that anybody can say that's going to add value to your page. When we're building pages, we typically want 50 or 75% of the content to come from somewhere else, only because we want to put the best ideas on the page, not the best ideas that we created. And if we can successfully put a collection of really, really good ideas together, other users are going to appreciate that. They're going to start following, they're going to start liking your posts, and you're going to build a really, really solid fan base. So in this example, I'm going to show you the account that we created a month and a half ago. It's got over 3,000 likes. It's got 500 followers. And every day we keep getting more and more traction on the account, and it just keeps bringing more and more leads for our company. It's very, very important that when you're making your Pinterest account, you target things that people are actually interested in. And to do this, you can just think about your industry, you can think about what you're selling, but make sure whatever it is broad. If I sent this link to my mom, if I sent this link to my sister, if I sent this link to, to other people, would they just sort of pacify me by telling me that it's good? Or would it be something that, hey, that's actually really, really interesting? And if the answer is people are just pacifying you by telling you that it's good, get rid of it. It has to be something that people see value in. It has to be something that I want to come back and look at. It has to be something that, hey, if I was going to get married in a year, I would actually want to go back to this page. I would want to look through the ideas and I would want to get that inspiration. And if you can achieve that goal, it means that the second part of this operation, which is the automation, is going to go so much smoother. You're going to be actually able to get traction on your account and it's all going to work. If your content's crappy, nobody wants to see it, and it's just going to sort of die a really, really slow Pinterest death in the way, the corners of the interweb. So now let's assume that we've successfully set up a Pinterest account. Assume that we've successfully set up a couple boards that are really interesting. And in this example, I'm just going to show you the 858 account that's got 3,400 likes and over 500 followers. And you can see here that we try not to talk about the signs too much. We try to talk much more about the application. So in this example, I'll show you the wedding page that we put together. And again, it's just giving you interesting ideas for how to make presents, how to make backdrops, how to really make the event special. And this page has been getting a lot of attention and it's just been performing very well. But again, a lot of the content on here is not from us. It's really just a collection of really, really good ideas. So once we have a page like this set up and everything's working, we now need to get the automation software. The automation software that I like to use is called Ninja Pinner. And all it's going to do is take the mundane tasks and the repetitive tasks, and it's just going to do those for you. So you could say, hey, I want to like 100 different posts every day about my niche, weddings, or about my industry. And then I also want to automatically follow anybody that creates a Pinterest account in my niche, because then that way there's a really good chance that they're going to follow me back. And then that means that I'm just going to be able to increase my views, increase my exposure on my account. And then the more exposure you're obviously going to get to the account, the less marketing that you're actually doing yourself, and the more that the Pinterest users are actually, repinning and giving you more and more traffic. So Ninja Pinner is super easy to set up. It's got a free trial. I think it's only like $30 when you actually buy it. I'm in no way affiliated with them. I don't make any money off the selling of their software. If you find something else that would work for you, I absolutely suggest you use it. The thing that I would tell you not to do is to sit on Pinterest every single day and spend 45 minutes to an hour of your day just hitting like, because it's going to be really hard to justify that time as a return on your investment. I've downloaded the software here, and I'm going to walk you through step by step the strategies that I used, like I said, to get the 3,500 likes and the 500 followers. So the interface is fairly simple and straightforward.
All right. So with that in mind, taking a look at that in some of the very important points here that he shared, he mentioned about Pinterest, it can actually be a great springboard for some of the things, just some of the pins that you like. And as he mentioned, making your message really broad in nature. All right. It's very visual. So again, has a lot to do with content marketing and pictures. It's very visual and making it very, very broad. So lots of great ideas there. And again, it's best, Pinterest best works if you're already active on your Twitter and your Facebook and your LinkedIn and that type of thing. So again, it's added value, folks, added value. All right, so we have, interestingly enough, talked quite a bit about social media platforms. We've looked at Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and we've looked at LinkedIn and Pinterest and Instagram, all of which it's really up to you folks which platform you're going to use, or platforms, as I say, because you just Facebook without Twitter, you want to be able to link it altogether. My best suggestion would be to try your top 3 or 4. Of course, Facebook and Twitter are going to be number 1. And I want you to try it. And of course, LinkedIn, I definitely recommend that as well. But I want you to also experiment with at least 1 or 2 more for the more visual businesses in Pinterest, Instagram, and for the businesses that you can do the how-to guides, and you could provide those little value added nuggets. YouTube would be a great place. As I said, video marketing is becoming more and more, and has become more and more the way to go in terms of content marketing. Which brings us to our final section of our discussion today, which is on content marketing. So, folks, we've talked about everything from what social media is, to who's on social media, what they're using it for, what social media marketing is, your goals, your vision, your mission, engagement. And we've talked about connectivity, and we've talked about the different platforms that you can use in creating your social media platforms. And now we're going to talk about content marketing. We're looking at the actual content, what you will be writing about. All right. Now, here's an interesting fact. Content is king, and Google, as we know, has maintained its position of having the highest quality content. So one of the key questions that I asked you during our previous live session on marketing research was, what do you do when you want to know about a product or service? We Google it. All right. So here's some interesting facts. Close to 1/3 of marketers actually believe that content marketing is going to be the most commercially important digital marketing trend of this year. And in fact, content marketing, social media, all of the above have literally reshaped the way that marketing is done. Content marketing budgets have exponentially increased. And when we think of good content marketing, we're looking at up-to-date, relevant content on a good quality site, and also having links to that information. So we'll take a look here. I'm going to share one of my very informative infographics really quickly here. So we'll exit out of here. And let's look at the state of content marketing as we speak. All right, most commercially important digital marketing trends for 2015. Content marketing, 29.6%. 3 online marketing brands leading the way. HubSpot, all right, receives 37% of traffic share to their blog. Kissmetrics receive 70% of traffic share to their blog, and research tools and blog pages both with 14% in terms of traffic share. So again, content marketing is very important. And when we think of content, we're talking about you putting out articles on your subject matter. We're talking about you blogging about your subject matter, your experiences. You starting a blog with regard to your business or your brands, whatever the case may be. Writing articles, putting out press releases, podcasts, YouTubes, all of the above are considered content marketing. All right. So here's some very interesting things here. Couple goals in terms of content marketing that I want to look at here. People actually put out content marketing for a couple reasons. One, to increase customer relationships and loyalty. As I said, consumers today, they want to know about their brands, they want to be informed, and they want to know that their businesses, be it small business, large business, entrepreneurial ventures, whatever the case may be, we look for those businesses who are engaged. So again, 88% of content marketers, all right, as an entrepreneur, folks, you need to be looking at increasing customer loyalty and relationships through content marketing, engaging through content marketing, increasing your brand or your business's awareness. How about sales through content marketing? Customer evangelism, content marketing, generating leads through content marketing, nurturing your leads through content marketing, and upselling or cross-selling. So I thought this was really interesting here. All right, here we are. Do marketers have a content marketing strategy or plan? We have 32% that say yes. We have 11% here. All right, and with that 32.3%, they integrate that into their marketing strategies. So as a smart marketer today, social media plus content is going to be great for your business. Let's look at this. Most popular B2C content marketing tactics, social media is number one, 93%, folks. And I use this as a springboard for our discussion on content marketing, because content marketing, social media go hand in hand. Whenever you're putting out those things when you're developing content, so to speak, when you're putting out press releases or blogs or articles or whatever the case may be, podcasts or YouTubes or what have you, those are all pieces of content marketing. How are you going to distribute them, right? How are you going to distribute these things? Again, social media is probably going to be the way to go. And we'll talk a little bit about that really quickly here. All right. So moving on, let's talk further about content marketing. All right. So a couple goals here. Again, when we're talking about content, it should be shared amongst a wider audience to drive more traffic to your website. The main thing about social media and creating great content is that the overall goal is that, one, they are more familiar with your brand and that they're able to go back to your website, because as you know, your website is your calling card for your business. All right. You want to create something that's shareable. You want to create something that's shareable. You can actually, excuse me, let's go back here a little bit. You can actually create surveys, quizzes, that type of thing with content marketing. And those are very helpful because it gets people involved. People love surveys and quizzes and things that they have to really think on. Facts, figures, statistics, all the above are very helpful. Infographics, folks, like the one that we just shared. Infographics have become one of the major key players in content marketing as well. All right, so let's talk about generating articles. Now, I am partial to articles because, as you know, I'm a content marketer. Much of what I do, I literally write articles every month on various topics, and I've written articles on everything from social media strategies, online branding. I've written on political topics. I have written on entrepreneurship. I've written on psychological aspects, all the above. And what I found is that people really identify with your brand when you write on something that they are passionate about. So I want to give you a couple tips here that are going to help you as you're creating your articles. Now, I know you may be saying, well, I'm in a specific industry. Why should I write an article? Why is it even important that I put out content? Well, I'm going to tell you, because when you put out content that's related to your business, you're seen as a go-to person in your business. And guess what? Those people are more likely to purchase your product or service because they believe what you're saying about your business. All right? Very important there. That's how you establish your presence. And that's how you increase your clientele as well, because they see you and that you're active and that you know what your business is about. You're able to comment effectively and write and generate content as well. All right. So when you are creating your articles, you want to attract a title. You have to have a very attractive title. It has to be engaging and motivating. I mean, I want you to think of the last article or headline that you recently read. What attracted you to that article? Like, what made you click on that link to read that article? 9 times out of 10, folks, it was the title. All right. So very important fact here. Content, golden content, will not be found if it lies behind an unattractive headline. What does that mean? You can write the most amazing article or what have you in the world. Unless that title speaks to the audience, they're not going to read it. All right. Tip number 2, consumers are impatient. So instead of you writing these very long chunks of information, you want to cut it into manageable chunks, all right? People like lists. They like tips. They like lists of things. Adding a number or two in the title, breaking the article up, that's going to help. All right, does that make sense? All right, tip 3, using titles such as how to, step by step, beginner's guides, all of the above, those really help. People want those extra nuggets. I think one of the key themes that we've seen as we've listened to social media, many of the experts on social media and small business owners, all the above, in order to really grow your business, you don't need to push your product or service on your potential consumers. You need to add value. How to, step by step, beginner's guide, that type of thing. How to avoid a problem. How to recover from disaster. Those type of things. How to grow your garden better. If you're in the lawn care business, how to maintain your grass during the winter. That type of thing. All right? All of which can be very helpful. Again, tip 4, polls, surveys, quizzes, studies, research figures, stats, all help. People love numbers because it helps them to put together the facts. All right. Tip number 5, people love lists as well. Best of, reviews. I'm a huge buff for the best of things like 2013, what happened, predictions, that type of thing. That's one of my, I absolutely look for that when I'm looking for really good content and really good articles. And then also discussing a myth or debunking a myth, fact finding, that type of thing. Consumers love fact finding articles. Tip number 7, commentary or discussion of recent news. I can't tell you how much traction, folks, that really discussing a hot topic will generate. All right, starting with an analogy or metaphor is always very popular as well. So again, those are great ways to create an effective articles. And I'm going to tell you, I started writing articles after completing my dissertation some years back. And if you Google my name right now, you'll see so many different articles on so many different posts, because what happens is once you put that article out there, it's there for the world to see. So it's very important that when you're writing and you're creating content that you're very aware of what you're putting out and how you're organizing it, because you never know where it may end up and whose hands it may end up in. All right, so very important there. All right, so let's talk about the power of blogging. So for those up and coming entrepreneurs here who are listening to the chat this evening, how many of you have considered blogging as one of your tools that you'll use in terms of your strategy for social media? Now, one of the key things when I wrote my book, blogging was a huge thing, and I would put out articles and post them on my blog, and I would put out topics of the day. I would put out tips for the week, all of the above, that really helped to drive it back to the book that I actually had written. All right, so when we are thinking about small business blogging, I know that some of you are in business and some of you are aspiring to be in business. So when we're thinking about small business blogging, few simple rules here to help you get started. 1, you can install WordPress. I actually write for She Owns It as well. It's one of the major blogs that's out here today. And literally, I believe Melissa gets about 1.75 million viewers to her blog each month. And she uses WordPress. So WordPress is probably one of the more stable blogs, and it's very comprehensive, and it has tons of features. So if you want to get started with blogging, you can install WordPress, or you can sign up for a free Blogger account. Blogger is free, and if you're just getting started, you can sign up for Blogger and just simply begin your actual blogging. And I believe there's a free WordPress as well. And then also you can publish content through Nearsay, and that's like a local content platform. But I would say just getting started, you can start with one of the free WordPress blogs or one of the free Blogger accounts. Okay? Couple of important points here, folks, with regard to blogging. 82% of consumers enjoy reading content from company blogs, okay? So if you're in the restaurant business, if you're in the lawn care business, if you're in child care, if you're in health and beauty, if you're in information technology, 82% of consumers enjoy reading content from company blogs. Also, over 30% of consumers consider a blog to be the second most influential factor when it comes to making a purchase. When you think about it, people go to look for real answers. So they want to see what people have been saying, what they're blogging about, all of the above. And so, and the final point here is businesses that commit to blogging and publish over 51 posts received a 77% lift in monthly leads. All right? So again, it does not have to be every day, but just keeping a consistent blog really helps helps your brand. All right, a couple facts here about blogging. Small businesses that blog generate 126% more leads than small businesses that don't blog. So that's a huge reason why you all should be blogging. Fact, companies that blog also have 97% more websites linking to them as well. What does it mean by linking? The more links that you have, the more traffic, the more social shares, the more leads, and as a result, more revenue. Folks, it all works in a circle. You're putting out content, you're on social media, you're blogging, all of the above, all of this, all of these entities and these platforms and these avenues are used to maximize your brand and to really promote your brand. All right, another fact here, over 60% of consumers have made a purchase and or have a positive feeling about a company based on a blog that they've read. So again, putting that content out there, putting that blog out there. Again, another fact here, approximately 70% of consumers learn about a company through their blog rather than through their paid advertising. Now, earlier on in the presentation, we highlighted that consumers are going to trust word of mouth, such as blogs, rather than paid advertising. Because as consumers, we've become more dependent on socialization than traditional advertising. So would it not make sense as a small business owner or up-and-coming entrepreneur to create the social platforms that consumers are going to potentially actually be geared towards? All right, so definitely makes sense there. Blogging. All right, so we have articles, we have blogs, all of the above. Now let's talk about how we're going to put the content out there all together. How are we going to put it out there? Well, here's the interesting trick. The trick here is not only in generating that content, not only in writing those blogs and writing those great articles and putting out those how-to steps and, you know, putting out those statistics and all the above, but it's also through the distribution, okay? Now, tip number one, and we keep seeing this, this is a repeating theme, folks. Write your article with an eye-catching title. We've said that. Your blog, your article, your social media post, whatever the case may be, eye-catching. That's what we look for. And then tip number two, you want to post it and syndicate it on your blog. Post it and syndicate it on your blog. You should have a blog that's tied to your Facebook, that's tied to your LinkedIn, that's tied to Twitter, that's tied to all of the above. All of these avenues should be interworking. You want to post a link of your article on your Facebook. Of course, you want to post to your Twitter, and you want to retweet the article from any Twitter profiles that you have. And another trick that I've learned is to take little snippets out of your article or blog and post them as quotes on your Twitter. All right? Or post the title of it, all right, with your handle and tweet that out to your followers. I mean, there's so many different ways to break up your content. And because the article is typically 500 words or so or less, there's lots of content that you can use to be used all over your social media as well. All right, here's another tip here. Guest blogs are really popular. I started out with Huffington Post, and also she owns it because I actually posted some guest blogs. All right. And that's a great way for the blog companies to create content because they allow guest bloggers, and you can actually post as a guest blogger in your industry. All right. So if you're interested in becoming a thought leader in your industry, or you're interested in posting content about your business or your business industry, guest blogging is very popular. And then on your website, once you have that WordPress or that blogger blog, you can allow those in your industry to post guest posts on your website as well. All right. The vlog. Is everyone familiar with what a vlog is? It's simply a video log. And it's becoming, as I said, more and more popular. We have to go back to what Mark Zuckerberg said. Video is going to be the wave of the future in the next 5 years. It is where we are now and where we're headed. So creating a vlog to go along with your written blog is very helpful. Also, podcasts have become the mainstay of many brands today. And podcasts are simply, it's all audio. So they're audio casts. So again, not only do you have written blogs, but you can have vlogs, which are video logs, and then podcasts, which are audio of your articles and your blogs and that type of thing. So there's so many different ways to do it, folks. All right. Press releases are very popular, and there are literally tens of hundreds of free press release sites that you can actually create and put content out all over the internet in terms of social media and that type of thing. So press releases are great ways to put information out on your business and also share it via social media as well. And then post to online discussion forums. All right. How many of us are active on online discussion forums about our businesses and seeing what's going on in that industry? It goes back to understanding what's going on with your competition and your industry as a whole. All right. Tip number 12, you want to use calls of action. And I know as we've listened to some of the other experts on social media, one of the main points that they highlighted was using call to action. Like us on like us on our page, or like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, that type of thing. Those are call to actions. You always want to include that when you have content marketing. Creating incentives. As I said, people love contests and quizzes and giveaways and that type of thing. So those are incentives, and it really works with regard to content marketing. Sharing a link, again, you want to make sure that when you put out any type of content, be it an article, be it a blog, be it a video log, a podcast, whatever the case may be, it should all be linked. And then also you want to submit that article to the social bookmarking sites because you want to have a history of it. All right. So very important there. All right. What does it mean to go viral? The goal of a lot of what we do in social media with regard to our content and creating these strategies is that one day, somehow, our content will go viral. Viral marketing is a huge positive aspect of marketing today. And let's talk about what it means to go viral. Viral content. It's anything that spreads like wildfire. It's literally shared at lightning speed. It gets quite a bit of coverage from all sorts of media, especially social networks. So viral marketing is one of the top ways to really be viewed by millions and millions and millions of people, literally for no money at all. All right. And so viral content is anything that's liked by thousands and shared by millions. It's anything that's unconventional, that's witty, that's hilarious. It has a really high chance of going viral. And the thing is, with regard to marketing, and this is, social media marketing, one of the key things that you have to remember, people love content that have emotion, that inspires, or that informs. Emotions, inspires, or informs. So again, it doesn't matter the small business, the entrepreneurial venture that you're in or that you're looking to be in. Again, people want to share stuff and they want to like stuff and they are connected to information that is emotional or that inspires them or that informs them in some way, shape, or form. All right, so what do? How do we get our content to go viral? Well, you have to think about it. What is the type of content that your target audience wants to consume? Folks, as small business owners and entrepreneurs and aspiring, you have to think about, again, it goes back to us knowing what is that social trigger that will really engage your and connect with your that target audience of yours. All right. What controversial topics in your industry can generate a buzz? Which emotions work best and really capture the attention of your brand or of your business? All right. Even if you're in the restaurant industry, talking about things such as food hormones or, organics or, shifting to more healthier meals or whatever the case may be. Again, these are all those triggers at work. All right. How do you plan to curate the content? What type of viral content do you want to opt for? Again, there's blogs, there's podcasts, there's videos, there's interactive content, there's infographics. There are a ton of ways in which you want to put that content out, and you really have to think of how to carefully craft it. And those topics that would really engage those audiences as you aspire to go viral. All right, so a couple tips here. One, if your content is relatable, it's gonna strike the right chord with the right people. Tip number 2, if you give a human angle, again, if you give a human angle and you're honest and you're open and you keep it interpersonal, your content is gonna have a greater chance of being shared. Tip number 3, think not just out of the box, but I want you to think unconventional about your business, folks. So as you're putting those final touches on your business plans, I want you to think unconventionally. What would be your pitch? What would be your angle into breaking into social media and really adding value to what's not already out there in the marketplace? And also, tip number 4, you want to push your content on multiple mediums for maximum reach. Multiple mediums, maximum reach. I don't want you all getting confused, folks. So don't go out there trying to, get on 20 different social media outlets at once. We want multiple mediums for maximum reach. I think, like I said, starting out with the top 3 and then adding 2 or 3 more would be great. And getting a central management system so that you can effectively manage it would be very effective. And you also want to weave that message in with something that's already trending. That's a really creative marketing technique that people have used for many years. All right, so viral content. All right, social reviews. How many of us actually, when we're looking for these new products or services who are out here on the market or just looking to find some type of service or product, how many of us actually look on social review sites? Now, one of the key things when you're in business, for those of you who already are, I'm sure that you are familiar with just how important managing your online reputation can be. Managing, not only is it important in managing your traditional reputation, but also managing it online. And as I mentioned earlier, people listen to what is actually, or they see what they see on the internet more than in real life and actually face to face. So it's very important that you are managing your online reputation and your online brand. Couple things here we definitely want to pay attention to. One, your online reputation and what your consumers and potential consumers and the overall population are saying about your business can make or break your business. Negative reviews can kill your business. So folks, for those of you who are aspiring, you want to keep it to a minimum. For those of you who are already in business, I'm sure that you know that negative reviews can make or break your business. All right. So I want to give you 4 of the top. And as you are creating your plans, I want you to make sure, if you're not familiar with these, to take a look at these sites in particular, because these are the top 4 sites that consumers actually go to look at reviews and to see what's going on with local businesses. So we have Angie's List, and that's one of the longest running and best known review sites, and they provide consumers with honest, accurate information about local businesses. So it's really great if you're going to be in business as a local vendor. Angie's List is a great opportunity for you to build your reviews, your positive reviews, and to really build credibility in terms of your reputation. Yelp is very popular. It's another free account for business owners. There's over 90 million reviews to date. So Yelp, Angie's List. There's also City Search, which is an online city guide that really provides information about local businesses in the U.S. So Angie's List, Yelp, City Search, and then we have Merchant Circle, and that's the largest online network of local businesses in the U.S. And it's the goal of the entire Merchant Circle is to connect qualified businesses to provide quality services. So Angie's List, Yelp, City Search, Merchant Circle, all of which are great resources to help you manage your online reputation and also manage what people are saying about you. The goal of this entire thing is to create wonderful content and to, connect via social media and interact and engage. But also you want to make sure that when you are performing your product and selling your product and performing your services, that you're not getting too many negative reviews. And the way to manage that is to really make sure that you're aligning these social review sites and that you're monitoring what's being said about your business. All right. Analytics, social media analytics. And really what analytics is, it's become more and more popular over the past 10 years because social media has literally, as I said, changed the landscape of marketing itself. Social media analytics is measuring and analyzing and interpreting your interactions and associations between people and topics and ideas. So there are tons of analytics tools that are out there. We're going to take a look at some, but it's really helpful because they help to uncover how customers really feel across various industries. So we'll look at that really quickly here. I'm going to share my screen really quickly. All right, and we'll close out here. I believe we're here. I'll close it out. All right, and then I believe there we are. Okay, great. Social media analytics here. Let's take a look at this. So these are 19 free, and I know we all love the word, especially small business owners or aspiring entrepreneurs. We love the word free because a lot of us, we don't have, these major budgets to work off of. All right, so here's a free social media analytics tool right here, Buffer. And what happens is you get all the major engagement stats for every update when you post on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and LinkedIn. So you can use Buffer, and there's Follower Wonk, which is very interesting. Follower Wonk, and it shows detailed activity, detailed breakdowns of your followers and your activity that's specifically focused on Twitter. We have Viral Woot, and that's a Pinterest tool. And that's going to help you with analytics in terms of Pinterest. So it'll show you your analytics on your followers, your repins, your new likes, your paid users, all the above. We have Iconosquare, and that's an Instagram management tool. And that's going to help you look at the big picture in terms of your posts, your likes, your comments, your followers. And it breaks down the last 7 days or months. Collecto is another Instagram stat. Google Analytics, that's their #1 site that analyzes Google Analytics. And you can actually, on Google Analytics, you can look at Twitter, you'll look at Facebook, LinkedIn, Google+, Pocket, Dig, Quora, all of the above. I actually use SumAll, which is very popular. Some All is pretty intensive because it allows you to use Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, all the above, and it shows you who you're interacting with, your retweets, your mentions, all the above, and it shows you week by week, day by day, all of the above. Quintly, Facebook pages, it lets you look at up to 3. So if you have a personal Facebook page or a business page, Facebook page, and you want to see the engagement methods, you can see there. There's Scythe, okay? And that has a lot of different tools. And then we have Tailwind, and the list goes on. So the main thing here is really looking at some of the tools. I think just starting off, Buffer would be a great one to use. Google Analytics would be great. And then Some All would be great. So Buffer, Google Analytics, and then Some All would be absolute wonderful for you to share. And it'd be more informative because you're able to share at least 3 to 4 of the main platforms. And that'll show you how much people are engaging. It'll measure and analyze and really interpret your interactions. All right, so let's talk about really quickly here because we're actually getting ready to sum up here. We're getting ready to sum up our discussion here. Let's look at the future of social media really quickly here. I'm going to share my screen. The future of social media. Where is it headed? Where do we think it's headed? Let's take a look at this.
Media has completely revolutionized the trillion-dollar advertising and marketing industries. This disruptive revolution will impact every individual and every company on the planet. How are you going to embrace this new revolution?
Several of the most successful companies and individuals in the world have emerged solely through the power of social media. Learning how to tell your story and embracing social media will give you a competitive advantage in life and business. After embracing social media, Goal Zero quickly became the 9th fastest growing company in the world. Blendtec has grown more than 700% since joining the revolution. And Aurebesh tried for 10 years to sell their product with no success. But once they embraced social media, they sold over 1 million brushes in 1 year. This is a revolution.
The church's presence on social media is truly massive. Across Facebook, Twitter, and several other social networks, we have more than 2,000 accounts, allowing us to reach millions of people each year. In fact, to reach the same amount of people the church reaches each year in social media, every missionary companionship would need to teach more than 30,000 people. That's teach, not just contact. With social media, we're able to reach people in ways we've never been able to before, providing them with inspirational messages, helping members do their callings, perhaps more importantly, empowering people to share their testimonies of Christ, whether that's through sharing our content or more importantly, through sharing their own testimonies and speaking with their friends, family, and followers about their beliefs and the difference the Savior has made in their lives.
I think a lot of teenagers will come out and say, yeah, I totally know social media because I've been tweeting and Facebooking since I was a kid, and I got 1,000 followers on Instagram. Well, that's okay. You're a participant. But if you really understand what makes it tick and how the dots all connect, how it fits together, you can leverage that knowledge into whatever career you want.
I get paid to go out and shoot amazing action imagery and video content for these companies that I love and believe in.
You named a business function, and we have social media professionals working in them now.
We have 100,000 Facebook fans. Those are technically like 100,000 sales reps for us.
I would say the quickest and the fastest, the most cost-efficient way to engage or interact with your customer, us down to a brand, would be through social media. It's quick turnaround, it's easy to do, it's fun to do, and you get immediate response.
It doesn't matter.
All right. I think it's very interesting here that we mention quick turnaround, quick response. So that's where essentially, as I mentioned, social media is the mainstay of what marketing is. It has literally revolutionized the way that we interact. and it dictates a lot of which the success of our businesses today. As I mentioned with the toothbrush example there, this company was barely making sales, and when they really started embracing social media and what it had to offer, that's when they began to see sales, because they were essentially connecting in a way that they hadn't connected before. Instead of going through those traditional advertising outlets, they begin to connect directly with their target market. And that's the goal for you all, folks, as you are putting together those final touches on that marketing plan. The question here, the main question that I want you to consider here is, how are you going to connect with your potential target market in a way that has not been done effectively before? All right? How are you going to do that? So just to summarize here, folks, we've talked about quite a few things here today. We've talked about engagement, and we've defined social media, and we've defined social media marketing and the social media revolution, and why content is important, and why blogging is important, and why all of these factors have to be linked to you as the business owner, as that potential entrepreneur, as that person who's going to be the liaison between your business's products and services and the consumers. So again, as I said, our point here today, it's highly competitive in the market, folks. There's always going to be competitors. There's always going to be new entrants into the market. We live in a global society now, but the way in which you connect with your consumers can make or break your business. So again, make sure that you're competitive, make sure that you're connected, and make sure that you are engaged. So 6 G's of social media marketing. 1, you want to be genuine, you want to be generous, and you want to be grateful, because there are a lot of things that can be done with social media. You don't want to be greedy, you don't want to be grandstanding, and you don't want to be grabby. All right? Make sure that when you're putting out that content, folks, that it's something to help your consumers, that it's not just all about you promoting your business, but that you're helping them, that you're creating a message that will help them in some way, shape, or form. That's what consumers like, and that's what they are interested in. All right? Very important. They want to be connected and engaged, and also make sure that you create strategies that are realistic and that they're timely and that it makes sense to your business. All right. So with that in mind, we have wrapped up our very informative chat session on social media. You can connect with myself, Dr. K, all over social media. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Huffington Post, Pinterest, Instagram as well. And I also have my websites there, www.drkgreen.com and www.rkgmarketingsolutions.com. Again, folks, it's always a pleasure delivering a lecture to you all. Such a bright group of students. I am looking forward to speaking with you on December the 1st. During that evening, taking your personal calls. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, I will be sure to answer them there. I also want to thank Dr. Dina for such a great invitation and extending this invitation to have these wonderful lectures with you all. And I look forward to speaking with you all on December the 1st. Thank you all so much. And you have a wonderful, wonderful day.